Boris Johnson is coming under huge pressure to shut down the unelected House of Lords, with furious critics labeling the upper chamber unfit for purpose. Hundreds of peers could now have a huge influence on Boris Johnson's Brexit plan with the European Union as they scrutinise the government's internal market bill. The proposed legislation risks overriding key parts of the withdrawal agreement signed with Brussels last year and could subsequently break international law. Despite threats of legal action from the European Commission, the Prime Minister is refusing to stand down on the internal market bill. A showdown is set to take place in the Lords on November 9, with peers planning to make the unusual move of voting on amendments to the bill during the committee stage. There are several proposals to rip out clauses that seek to break international law, and the expectation is the government will be easily defeated on this in the upper chamber. The votes were set to take place at the end of November, by which time the UK had hoped a trade deal with the EU would have been sealed, but bringing them forward piles even more pressure onto Mr. Johnson, as crunch talks between the UK and the bloc remain ongoing. Furious critics have had enough of the House of Lords and are demanding it be scrapped or, at the very least, forced to undergo dramatic reform. Ben Harris-Quinney, chairman of the Bow Group think tank, told Express.co.uk, the House of Lords has long been unfit for purpose. When it was reformed in 1999, whilst aristocratic membership had become indefensible, the reforms merely created a new aristocracy of cronies and donors to the powerful. It has now become the largest parliamentary chamber in the democratic world, despite being entirely undemocratic itself. It's no surprise that a body made of the last 20 years of the British establishment offers another example of establishment opposition to Brexit. The vast majority of the Lords are pro-EU. Many are financial beneficiaries of EU membership, such as Lord Heseltine, who has openly suggested ignoring the referendum result entirely. These people are dangerously out of touch with the electorate and democracy. They are enemies of democracy and therefore the public, and the best adverts for their own abolition. Patrick Sullivan, chief executive of the Westminster-based Parliament Street think tank, accused peers of using their unelected power to try and thwart historic democratic decisions such as Brexit. He said, "For too long now the established political class has dined out on the House of Lords using its unelected power to try to stymie and even stop democratic decisions like Brexit.